Strippers of Reddit, what are some things you want people to know when going to a strip club? Don't fall in love with the girls. My friend went nuts over a very nice stripper and spent much of a small inheritance buying dances and drinks. Kept asking her out and she kept noping on it with the usual, "We can't date the customers" line. He kept asking nicely. One night she must have felt sorry for him because she took him in the VIP room and sat him down. Standing in front of him with nothing on but a pair of FMPs, she told him, "Look at me. I look good enough to make a very nice living just taking my clothes off. Do you honestly think for 1 second that I don't have a boyfriend?" He was crushed.
My brother used to fall for strippers all the time. To the point it became embarrassing. I tried to talk sense into him, but never had any luck. Over the course of 15 years, he actually landed one. I never heard the end of it. That is, until a couple of weeks later they got into some petty argument and she literally trashed his house and stole a bunch of stuff. I always thought that was point. Anyway, dude went on to marry a Russian mail-order bride, got divorced after 7 weeks, and now lives in Thailand and has been married to a woman 20 years younger than him who he can't communicate with because she doesn't speak English. She and her entire family lives off of his income and savings. I think some guys are just like that.
Had a close call in Ankara, Turkey a few years back. I went to a burlesque show. The girls were mostly naked, but it was a different scene, more like a stage with 6 girls with tassels on their tits who would then mingle with the men sitting down for dinner. One of the girls noticed that I was American and she had a very concerned look on her face and she pulled me aside to warn me that this place isn't like the strip clubs in America, here you are charged by the minute. And she told me about Americans who would unknowingly rack up massive bills that they could not pay, leading them to get beat up severely or worse by the bouncers. I got up and left, and in fact, I was on a timer and it took them 5 minutes to tally up my bill, which came to more than $100 just for about 25 minutes in the club drinking 1 beer.
That's pretty cool of her to save you some trouble like that.
I used to work at a strip club, not a dancer, and the girls would cut the strings off their tampons so it wasn't visible to the outside world. Sometimes they get lost up there and they look to one of the only sober women present to fish it out. Was always great fun. Also the girls had code words. If a guy offered to buy them a drink, if the girl ordered a vodka and lemonade, it meant they wanted water and would rather have the money from the drink given to them. At $9 each drink, the girls made a nice little sum on the side. We had envelopes for all of the girls where the money would go into. The guy thought he was buying her a drink at $9 and that's what he paid, only he was paying it directly to her via us at the bar and she was having a lemonade or a water. Strip clubs are a lot more fun if you just appreciate the fact that it's a ridiculous show and that the girls are working. They aren't interested in you, but they are still people. If you don't take it so seriously, it can be a fun place to hang out with some friends. One time I was at a club with some friends and one of the girls came up and tried to get us to buy a dance. None of us were interested, but she hung out and chatted for a few minutes. She was cool and liked sci-fi, so I made her a deal. Instead of a dance, I told her I would pay for a dance if she took my friend to the back and explained the plot of Star Wars to him as he stubbornly refused to watch it. They left for like 10 minutes, and then he came back and was able to walk through basically the entire plot, with me tipping her on major points. We all had a good laugh and my friend now knows about Star Wars. Best dance money I've spent so far. Very few actual strippers, literally just got home from work, so here's what springs to mind from the evening. Don't go if you aren't willing to buy dances or at least tip the stage. We absolutely hate the furniture and nothing is more frustrating than a full club of non-spenders hanging out for hours. We are not paid by the club. Actually, we pay the club to work plus have to tip out DJs and bouncers plus then, for those of us who file taxes, pay out 30% of our income to Uncle Sam due to independent contractor status. If a girl doesn't want to sit and bullshit with you for long, this is why. Time is money. Please do not ask questions like what part of town we live in or what high school/college we went to. There's small talk in normal situations, but stalkers are a very real possibility for us. Behave yourself. We aren't sex dolls who happen to walk around, we're the same women you see at the grocery store. If you're allowed to touch, FFS, don't be aggressive about it. For the love of God, don't try to lick or kiss us. It never fails to astound me how a generally well-mannered dude will morph into octopus hands McClicky face in a club. Don't wear sweats or gym shorts. Nobody wants to dance for sweatpants boner man. I bounced at a strip club for a few years and I have seen so many things people do that make me want to high-five them in the face with a folding chair. Bring money and tip the girls. Don't have money, then don't go to the strip bar. No, they are not going to sleep with you, but they are going to be wickedly sexy for you, which is wonderful. So sit back and enjoy the fantasy and keep your hands and tongue and other body parts to yourself until the ride has come to a complete stop. Buying the girl a drink is usually a waste of time. She will have a drink the bartender makes that is virgin. She's not going to get drunk and find you sexy through beer goggles. Instead, buy yourself the drink and give the money to the girl. She wants it more than drinks anyway. Take a bath before going out to any bar, but especially a strip club. That girl is in her underwear or less and touching you. Don't make it icky, tip her. Yes, I said that earlier, but it bears repeating. Tip your stripper. The girls there are often very friendly, and yes, it has a lot to do with getting you to spend money, but the fact is they are hella fun to hang out with as well, so have fun and be friendly with them. They will reciprocate the positive vibes, I promise. If you wear sweatpants in public, you need to rethink your life choices, and the strip club is not the right place for you. Every once in a while, I'd go to these spots in Queens. I was not a strip club guy, but an acquaintance of mine bounced at a place called Cityscapes underneath the 59th Street Bridge, and I would BS with him for a bit, check out the club, etc. Not being a strip club guy morphed into strip club patron once a month. I think a lot of what is being said here is spot on the money. Spend your money, tip the barmaids and the girls. Be nice to the girls that are having a hard time. Man, that always bothered me. Every now and again, there were jerks. If I spent my money, I'd always spend it on the dancer that wasn't making any money. I was a known entity, a safe guy. I also knew every after-hours spot in Queens from 2001 to 2014, so I had that going for me. Hooking up happened, not all the time, however. In NYC, B-girls became very popular in the 2000s. Basically every bar in Corona and Jackson Heights is a B-girl type spot. Again, like has been written here, those ladies had families or boyfriends. Not necessarily into you, more into that dollar. But, being calm, cool, level-headed and treating the situation the way it is, fun and not being afraid to spend money, sometimes you hook up. Last girl I dated before I hooked up with my wife, mother of my children aged almost 4 and 2, was a stripper from their spot Gallagher's in Queens. Met her in November 2012. Went out 4 times between Thanksgiving and December 10th of that year. She enjoyed the nose candy, but she was an avid reader and a fun date. Not sure what exactly happened, but I met my wife and we now have 2 great kids, a mortgage I can barely afford and a relationship that's shaky. I think about how happy I was occasionally having sex with B-girls, strippers, barmaids. It was a very happy and uncomplicated time.